As the bull market starts, we can see strategies emerging of when you should have bought Bitcoin and when you should have sold Bitcoin. Strategy like you should have bought Bitcoin 300 days ago doesn't really help us because we are 140 days away from the next halving. Therefore, we need a new one, right? And you will see on Twitter and on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram all kind of strategies. You will see simple moving average, exponential moving average, Fibonacci retracement, support, resistance, buy here, buy there. Stop. You don't need that. Because if you are not a chart analyzer, if you're not a trader, you will need a much simpler strategy. A strategy which you can follow and you can time it correctly. So today, I'm going to show you that. Hey everyone, my name is Sabi, we are the Coin Explorers. Make sure that you click the subscribe button and you follow us on the socials as well. So let's start and talk about this strategy. But to know a good strategy or to develop a good strategy, you do need to know what happened in the past. The strategy I was talking about, which is not very helpful anymore, is the 500-day strategy. And it consists of you should buy Bitcoin 500 days before the halving because that's the best moment, which is also not true because we did see some dips. If we go back to the end of the second cycle, we can see that 500-day price was also touched in 2020. And right now, we don't see what is going to happen next. However, so far, the 500 days before halving strategy could work because that was the time when Bitcoin went down to $16,000 to $17,000. Now, if you bought there, congrats. However, I don't think that many people went all in at the bottom, okay? Everyone who says that they went all in at the bottom because they knew that it's the bottom, I'm skeptical about it. However, if they did, good for them. Today, we are going to talk about what we can do right now, what we can do next, and when we should sell, okay? Because that's the key to everything. Nobody got wrecked by taking profits. However, by taking profits too early can also cause a big miss of opportunity because maybe you take profit after 2x and the price goes to 15x, right? First of all, the 500-day. We discussed that. It's clear. However, we are here right now. We are 140 days away from the halving. Therefore, the question is what we can do now and what we should do when we get to the top or allegedly to the top of the bull market, because we will not know whether that is a top or not. First of all, question, should we measure the top in price or should we measure it in time? And so far, time was a much more accurate indicator than price. So if you are counting on going to 100K and you take everything or you sell everything there, Bitcoin might go to 300K and altcoin would fly even more. So there could be a big miss of opportunity. Therefore, I think, and this is my personal opinion after some research and chart analysis and also sentiment analysis, that time is a much better indicator to estimate when the top will be in than the price, because we don't know who will pump the price. However, if we think of cycle times and the narratives, usually cycles are respected because there are some moments or there are an emotional state when the asset is just too expensive for people to buy in anymore and investors will start to sell. More on that in the next videos. But right now, let's just go a bit on the actual numbers. As you can see, the tops are usually coming in after 550 days, 50, 60 days after the halving, okay? The only one which was at 300 was the first, after the first halving, the second bull run. And that was occurring at 370 days. Now there is something very interesting to the 370 days. The next one in 2017 occurred after 525 days. I don't know if you can see this correctly. I'm gonna zoom in here. So 525 days after the halving, the top was in and investors or people started to sell. Now in 2020, we had something similar as in 2013. The first top occurred after the same amount of days as in 2013. And the second top, as you can see, occurred after 546 days. Now, I don't really want to go into very specific number of days because it could be 550, 560, 520. However, it is very interesting to see that these tops occurred after the same amount of days as the previous stops. So there is a cycle and there is something which we can rely on, right? So if you follow this strategy, the question is very simple. If after 300 and something days, you don't sell and the price go down 50%, because that's what happened. Okay, the price went down almost 50%. We can measure it here. It was 56%. At this moment here, when the price is just continues to drop, will you have the balls to hold on to that, because you are just convinced that there will be a second top after 500 and something days? And just to give you a very clear perspective, the difference between the two tops is almost like 10 months. Will you have the willpower to hold on to your asset 10 months and be convinced that there will be a new top? If you ask me, if you see all the signs, time frame, sentiment, market reaction, Facebook is buzzing about crypto, and Wall Street Journal and every big TradeFi journals are writing about how good and how great Bitcoin is and the price action as an asset, it is probably time to sell or sell some, because the second top, I don't think that it is in the cards. If you don't have a top after 300 and something days, then we can look at the 500. For this small percent, because the difference was only $6,000 between the two tops, I don't think that it's worth it. Now, since we know when to sell, we need to define when to buy, okay? And for that, we are going to use the chart which we have right now, okay? I'm not going to go and tell you when you should have bought, because that's nonsense. However, knowing what happened before, we can have some good expectations. And these kind of plans are not created or are not brainstormed so people or me, for example, as an investor, to stay on the sidelines and to wait for that moment, because it may never come. It's to make sure that I already have some exposure, but I also keep some money on the sidelines in order to buy in if those events, which I'm going to explain in a second, occur, okay? So here is the thing. Right now, Bitcoin is bullish, okay? We can see that Bitcoin is going up. And if I go back to the daily chart analysis here and I just unhide my drawings, you can see that Bitcoin is in this cluster. I will go back to the daily, and it is kind of wants to go to the $48,000, okay? If it goes to $48,000 and the dominance goes up and then starts to drop, the altcoins will go crazy. I can assure you about that. Not financial advice, by the way. Even though I assure you about that, it's my speculation. Let's just keep that in mind. Bitcoin right now is bullish. It has a bullish price action, even though after SEC sued Kraken and Binance went kind of bust, but it didn't. I'm very sorry to hear about CZ. I think he did lots of good things for the industry. And pioneers, well, yeah, they have to do what they have to do. Allegedly, okay? I don't know what happened, but my speculation is that they want to make sure that the business in the United States is conducted by people and friends in the United States. If you want more details about that, watch this video, because I just posted it the day before yesterday. So right now, what I can see on the chart, I can see that Bitcoin is holding this support. We have a bullish setup. We have stochastic and RSI at reset, which is always good, and it is always show that the momentum is there somewhere. I am still waiting for a higher high. Obviously, if it doesn't happen, then we will look into a more bearish scenario. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin went down to the 32,000, because that would be the next support and that would be the reset of everything. And that's where probably many people will buy in, because these times when we are just starting with the bull market, Bitcoin at 32,000 is cheap. Since we already know what is happening, okay, so maybe we start with DCA. We buy some here. We see that Bitcoin climbed higher and came back and confirms this uptrend somewhere at the 38 again. We buy some here. I will, obviously. And we see the 48,000. Now, 48,000 is a very important resistance, and I don't think that Bitcoin will break it very easily. Therefore, at this moment, maybe I will take some profits, because I am prepared for the next big event, okay? And that next big event is the halving. Because you see, after every halving, there is a crash. And on top of that, we also have something else which is gonna happen in the next couple of months, next year. Maybe it will be in June, we don't know. And that is the FOMC interest rate hike stop. They will start to reduce it, okay? So the interest rate will probably start to go down. They will want to jumpstart the economy from the bank's perspective. We will talk about that a bit more as well. But the most important thing is that when the Fed starts to decrease the interest rates, usually there is a crash, okay, in the stock market, at gold's price, crypto will go down probably, and that is the God-given opportunity for the last time in the cycle to buy in, and that is what I am going to use, okay? Again, not financial advice. So what will be the top? It's not easy to define, and if you just put this curved line on the tops and on the bottoms, it could very easily happen that, one, Bitcoin will go back to the 20-somethings. It could happen. Maybe we will have a flash crash. I don't know, black swan. I don't know what else could happen, but something always happens, right? From there, we will probably start to pump because that will be the ignition point of people buying in, and the supply will be so scarce that the demand will be overwhelming for that supply. And that is what we are going to use. And that is when the price will just shoot up. And we will see whether this is going to be based on the price or on the time. If I see a flash crash, that is a big buy opportunity for me. And if I see that the price touches this line and we are around the 300 and something, that is a big signal for me to take profits, okay? That is like taking profits, it's like selling 70% of my bag, okay? That is the signal for me. And it could be that the price already reaches the 140,000, right? The line, but we are just 100 days after the halving. In that case, I would say, well, the timing is off. Therefore, it seems that we are going higher. Therefore, at that moment, the profit taking will be much smaller. As you can see, this is almost trading. This is investing. This is taking educated guesses of what you should and what you shouldn't do. And it is very important to have a strategy. If you don't know when you want to sell, you won't sell it when you have this tickling feeling that I should sell. Everybody is greedy. I also did my part. I am doing it. It's a process. You have to learn it. You have to change your mindset so you can buy in the red and sell in the big green. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. It's much easier to buy in the red than selling it when you are greedy and everyone is yelling bull market and Bitcoin to 1 million. Just keep that in mind. When you see all the news in the media about crypto and Bitcoin, and when non-crypto degens, okay, average Joes, as crypto degens call normal people who are not in the crypto investing, they will start to ask you about crypto and they want to buy Bitcoin. That is a very strong signal to sell. Hope you like this content, and I'm coming back next week again. Tomorrow, another short as usual. Let me know in the comments what you want us to review, which coins are your favorite, and yeah, I see you next week. Take care.